So what I want to do is help speed this along. If I had this training back in 2011, I wouldn't have taken lunches and breakfast and coffees with people that did not ever give me deals.
All right.
Yeah, and so the stakeholders, there's about 10 of them that are having the tough conversation with daughter Judy. That's my name for her. Daughter Judy is the adult child of the senior moving in. It's normally mom, but sometimes it's dad. Daughter Judy is having a rough time. Do you ever hear the term being quartered? Back in the
horses.
With horses,
Yep.
how they would torture somebody. Mm-hmm. That's daughter Judy. There's usually multiple.
Well, let's just explain.
Yeah.
What being quartered is.
Being quartered is when to kill you, they would hook a horse up to each arm and to each leg, and they'd pull you separately until you died. Mm-hmm. Not a good way to go.
Not the best way to go.
Not the best way to go.
There was that or disemboweled. Like those are the two ways.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I think you get disemboweled after they quarter you.
Yeah.
Right? And so daughter Judy's having a rough time of it. There's always one adult child where the most of the burden falls on them.
Yep.
And I lovingly call her daughter Judy. We used to call her daughter Karen, but the word Karen's had a rough year and a half, so we changed it about daughter Judy's in over her head. There's no training for her. And let me just tell you the 4 quarters of what's happening to Judy. We just found out mom has to move into senior living. So you have a cantankerous mother who's being taken from her forever home and put into someplace new.
Yeah, never put in that perspective for us. Her forever home. She went there to retire.
That's where she thought she was going to live. She's been there since 1973.
Yeah.
Where all the memories were. You've got the senior living community. They're a little bit needy. There's a lot of paperwork that needs to happen. How are you guys going to pay for this? These weird pressures about, that's when they realize they need to sell the house. And we'll talk about that. You've got the Judy's adult brothers and sisters. Sister Karen, we'll call her. There's always that sister that has the opinions without any of the answers, who questions everything that Judy does. You're selling the house for how much? You're putting her where? Mom's not what you say she is, right?
Yeah.
So the adult
we love
children,
those people, the ones that have all the problems and none of the answers.
I've got solutions for them. And I know in your training you do too. How do we help Judy deal with the siblings? Then the fourth one is Judy's a married woman, usually with kids at home still and a life, and she's got a needy husband at home who's like, he's missing his wife, and she's being pulled in these 4 directions, and all of those pressures are on daughter Judy to try to fix the problem. And so if me and you were brothers and we found out today that mom has to move into senior living, number one is, where's mom going to get the best care, right? We just got bad news from the doctor. We're going to go into these communities. We find out the one we and you picked out is not the cheap one. We picked the nice one. We love our mom. Who's going to pay for that? So bad news from the doctor, bad news from community. Then the last straw is everybody knows a realtor. And the realtor comes into Mom's Forever Home and says, clean this place out, do this list of rehab items, and we'll put it on the market. And yes, then we can get that big Zillow number that you saw, right? That's how it works. Daughter Judy is still dealing with mom, still dealing with brothers and sisters, still trying to get all the family over there to coordinate the house sale, getting it cleaned out. And with mom's house and with any as-is buyer, our business that we're in, we offer a different solution for the seller. An easier solution for the seller. Bad news, bad news, bad news. And I come in and say, hey, in 3 weeks, I'll be at closing. Take any heirloom you want. Anything in here is your stuff. But if you want to leave everything else, you can.
Got it.
There's a crazy stat in St. Louis that I think is interesting. The average estate sale in St. Louis, the revenue is between $3,000 and $5,000. That's what the stuff sells for in the house. The cost to put that on, $3,000 to $5,000. So is dad's stuff worth nothing? I would argue it's worth less than nothing because of the time it took to get it to zero. Do you see what I'm saying?
Categorize it.
Well, it just took time, right?
Yeah.
It kept you away from mom's money. They're trying to unlock that equity in the house. Now, the senior living industry, they just want you to show up with a bag of cash. They don't want you to show up with a house that you need to sell. And so we help the senior industry. We help daughter Judy. And then the easy part is us, the real estate investor. We're dreaming of these type of deals. And there's 5 reasons why that I feel like that these are the best deals. And I would be happy to take the Pepsi challenge with any other type of lead source out there. I really believe when I say that these are the best leads. They need to sell the house versus want to. So there's no heavy lifting on convincing them that it's the time to sell. They have 100% equity in these houses almost always.
Really?
About 85% of the time.